At the FayWhat show, we want to introduce you to interesting people that are important to our LGBTQ plus community. Like this interview right here with psychic medium and my friend, Erin Lee. Hello and welcome back to the FayWhat show. So today on the show, we're going to introduce you to the author of the best-selling short novel, Psychic Development and Intermediate Guide. She is a psychic medium. She's an oracle card reader. She's a Reiki master, and she's so much more. Aside from being a friend of mine for over 20 years. Can you believe that? I met her when I was 3. Her name is Erin Lee, and let's welcome her to the FayWhat show. I don't have an audience, Erin, so Luna's the audience, the dog.
She's pretty chill right now.
She is, and she's a really, so I don't know if that's good or bad, that I put her to sleep or that.
No, I gave her Reiki before we started.
Oh my God, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's literally why she's fine now.
Oh my God. Okay, well, we have to talk about that too. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I feel like, so me and Erin met we were doing the math and I was trying to undo some of the years, but she didn't let me. We met back in in the 2000s in radio, right? We were both working for a radio station down here in South Florida. And I felt the need to date all the lesbians that were part of that company. And for whatever reason, Erin was always the straight person in the middle of a bunch of gay people. She just always was, you know?
Because y'all knew how to have more fun than any of my straight friends, I swear to God.
You know, and it's so funny you say that because it's like, you know, this is an LGBTQ plus show,
right?
You know, and when I asked you to be on it, which I had been thinking of getting you on for a while, just understand that, right? It was like, she taught me what an ally was, you know? No, it's the absolute truth.
Seriously, what a lovely compliment. Thank you.
It really is. You know, one of my best friends in the whole world, rest in peace, Derek Pitts was one of our bosses, and he was a mentor for me in radio. And unfortunately, we lost him to cancer right before COVID. And, you know, he was the one who planned the events, you know, and it was like, okay, after everybody worked their ass off, we're all going to party together,
right?
You know, and we would all party together. My cousin Diana, Donnie, there was just so many different people that all hung out together. And you decided to become roommates with a girl that I kind of fell for because she looked like Britney Spears at the time.
She did.
Didn't she look like Britney Spears? She totally, before crazy, when she was on her meds. Yeah.
The good time.
You know, but you just, and it's just because of all the hate, you know, you have a 14-year-old who I love. Jonas is amazing. You know, there's so much hate going on right now here, especially for LGBTQ plus youth. You know, and this is what Florida is all about because we've got this awful governor. You know, 20 plus years ago, we were just a gay community, and people who were allies just hung out with us. There was not really any added thing. We did prides together. We did marches together.
Yes.
We did events together.
All the time.
And you never were like, I'm not gay. Why am I here? It was just like, let's do this. What do you need? You know? And that was what taught me what an ally was. So I say thank you for that, you know?
Thank you for welcoming me into your community.
Oh my God, of course, of course.
Seriously.
So let's try to unpack, because you're this is so captivating to me and so interesting to me, all the different things that you do. A medium, okay? When I think of a medium, and again, I could be wrong. The first thing I think of is someone who talks to someone that's no longer here.
That's right.
Okay? And so you told me that you had started feeling certain things in your teenage years. Okay? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So when I was, actually it was 11 was the first time that I really had a kind of what is this? I don't know how to identify it. It's when you have a feeling before you can put words to it, right? And I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone teaching me. My parents were not, my mom would consider herself spiritual, but for the most part, there was nobody to guide me in this, right?
But who's going to guide you in that? You know what I mean? It's
I am that
mediums
person.
are us. Let me Google that shit.
I am that person for other people now. So, but then, and mind you, this was the 90s, right? So my family went house hunting to purchase their first home. And I got this really bad feeling. And again, I'm 11 years old, 6th grade, right? Imagine being that age and not knowing, we have this awful feeling wash over you of something is not right about being here.
Okay, but is it something is not right about being here or something bad is about to happen?
Something bad had already happened. I had intuited that something bad had already happened.
Okay.
And then as we're touring the home, I see that there's a shotgun under the couch. And I had already had it in my mind that someone had passed away there, someone had been shot there. So seeing the gun under the couch was validation for me in my little girl brain that, okay, it makes sense. This is what happened. And again, there was no internet then, this, again, early 90s, right? So I didn't have any way to like look it up and verify it. But to me, intuitively in my gut, I went, this had to be what this was, right? And I begged my mom and dad, I'm like, please, I don't want to live here. Like, I have such a bad feeling about this. And they actually listened to me and put in a bid on another house. And ultimately we moved somewhere else. But that was the first time that I really had that feeling. And then going in and out of antique shops, I would see my reflection in the mirror, but it would be someone else and not me. I mean, just crazy stuff where it's, again, I'm like, that I was 14 years old then. So the same age my son is now.
Did you think you were going nuts?
It's not that I thought I was going nuts, but I'm like, I don't know how to explain this, or I don't, like I said, I can't articulate what this means or how this feels. And then I had a car accident when I was 19 and I broke both of my femurs and I was in the hospital for quite some time. But 2 weeks prior to that, I had felt that something bad was going to happen. I had a premonition that I was going to be in the hospital. Clairvoyantly, which is psychic sight, I saw in my mind's eye myself laying in a hospital bed, but I didn't know why I was there. So it's the kind of thing where when you have some of these premonitions or you have some of these visions, but you don't know how to explain it or you don't know what to make of it. I'm like, okay, I'm receiving this information, but what do I do with it? Now, at this point in my life, I would maybe be a little more mindful when I'm driving, or maybe I would be more cautious or whatever. But ultimately, your life path is what it is. If you're meant to do something or something's meant to happen to you, there's, we have free will as humans, but there's very little you can do to prevent it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, sorry.
No. So, I mean, like, okay, but you're 14, you're 19, you're still like, you're not around anybody that can actually say, this is what's happening, honey.
No.
This is what you need to do to excel or to make it better or to make it less or whatever. Like, you don't know where to go from there.
I started watching John Edward. I swear to God, because that's all there was. And nobody else was a psychic medium publicly on a national platform at that time. And he had crossing over on TV. So I would watch that once a week with my family, and we'd sit and kind of like get into it and whatever. It was interesting. And when I was, I think like 17 or 18, I saw him in person for the first time, where he does what's called platform mediumship, where you go on a stage and you pick people out in the audience and whoever you're drawn to. But that's who I originally learned how to read from, and how I learned to like make sense of what I was seeing and hearing was through watching him and watching the way he works. And even still, he's one of my favorite people to watch.
Okay. And so I've been to a live presentation from him as well. And there was a time where I was like, all those people are chosen. It's bullshit.
Oh, no, totally no.
All of them knew beforehand, and then there was another time that I went that I was like, oh no, there's no way they would have been picked before because this, and this, you know what I mean? So, wow, that's interesting. So, okay, let's fast forward. You've been through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind? I'm going to share not a lot, but
no,
you know what
please,
I mean? Okay.
As much as you want. I'm an open book.
And that's the thing. Miss Erin has been an open book, since I met her, it's like whatever she's, she was in a hospital for a shit ton of time, right? It was like, okay, how can this help somebody else? She was in an abusive relationship and just somebody that was just, you marry a narcissist, okay? Imagine me being married to Trump, okay? That was basically what Erin's life was, and how she found the freaking strength to get out of it. Still today she posts things about, it's been this amount of time since I got out of this horrible relationship. You can do the same thing too, Jonas. I mean, Jonas went through so much medical stuff, so many things. What was it that happened to him?
So it's called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So he was born with a non-working left ventricle. So that is the ventricle that pumps blood throughout your entire body. So without that, you have to have multiple surgeries to correct it. And then even still, it's like a workaround, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, from the time he was born, he was diagnosed upon delivery. And then at 4 days old, had his first open heart surgery, and then subsequently had 2 more.
Wow. Okay. And I still remember the posts, like they were yesterday. The kid is 14 now. Okay. But the pictures, I mean, he was basically cut all the way down his little body. And a bunch of other things that have happened to you over the years, and people might think that like things like this don't happen to someone who can speak to folks from the beyond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, does it help? Does it hurt that kind of time? Like,
so it's actually, I really do feel like everything that has happened to me throughout my lifetime has been to be of service to other people. And exactly like you were saying, me posting things on social media, sharing about it. I've had people message me privately and say, you don't even realize the impact that you're having on people without even having a one-on-one conversation. And I have no problem being candid because I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're the only person that's been through something.
Yeah.
Because it's the most isolating feeling in the world.
it really is. But isn't that crazy that as humans, we all think we're the only one? There's a million billion of us, okay? There's a billion million of us. And we're still like, nobody understands my woes. Nobody's as lonely as me.
Exactly.
No one has ever dated a crazy narcissist. You know what I mean?
God.
Like, you're not alone. Everything. There's a possibility that whatever, okay, whatever. I don't want to say something outlandish, okay? But whatever it is that you're going through, I promise you
Somebody else
that
has.
there's at least 20 to 100 other people that have gone through the same shit, even more.
And also, energetically, we attract like-minded people too. So there's been so many times where I've met someone and we have a conversation and I'll be like, oh my God, my mom is horrible. And they'll be like, my mom was abusive too. And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out about, this career change or this relationship change or this whatever change. And it's like, oh my God, me too. And it's whatever you're going through in that moment, you end up attracting people who are like attracts like. So that are in similar situations. And it's like, wow, how can we be supportive to one another?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm married to a skeptic. Teresa, the Cuban, she doesn't believe in anything. And so, and I'm always that person that it's like, you never know. You know what I mean? Aliens, hello. Okay? Like, again, as crazy as that sounds, I mean, there's government officials that have said, here, we've got this, we've got that. There is proof now, and people are still like, But, I'm fascinated by all this, and I'm a firm believer. Energetically, we are such powerful human beings, and we don't know how powerful we really are.
True.
And I love that you were able to zone into that power and use it to help others, where other people would probably be like, I'm not gonna dabble in it, but I don't think that you could not help others.
It got to the point where because I kept pushing it away. And there was a point in my life where, and you touched on this at the beginning, but I was in radio forever. 20 years I was in radio. And I'm like, this is my path. This is what I'm doing. I love this. I'm never doing anything else. And more, I kept getting pushed and nudged. And then it got to the point where if you ignore the nudges too much, universe, spirit, your guides, however you want to phrase it, will clear the path for you, whether you want to or not. And
you're fired.
And when they clear the path, literally.
Is that what happened?
Not fired, but I got, my position at work changed and my hours were less. And I'm like, well, shit, now I can't use it as an excuse anymore.
Yeah, obviously guides are making me go this way and I keep on pushing this way,
Yep.
Okay, so you do a bunch of stuff. You do the oracle cards that we're going to do at the end of our segment. You do the Reiki that you did on Luna, and now she's passed out. I don't know if we're going to be able to get her up for a picture or anything. But let's talk about the pet readings.
Sure.
Okay. I lost a cat 2 years ago. Her name was Gypsy, and I had her for 21 years. All right,
it's a long time.
It's a very long time, very long time. And a couple of months ago, I lost a golden doodle. His name was Louis, and I'm still not over that. Right? And he helped me through cancer. And, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Fuck. He helped me through cancer, and he was just the best dog in the whole entire world. And he helped me through cancer, and I couldn't help him through cancer. Unfortunately, we lost him a couple months back. A pet reading would have been good to have, just because, in our minds, we're like, are they okay? Do they miss us? Do they think, afterlife, the whole entire,
100%.
gambit of it, Do you find that people that come to you for a pet reading are searching for that kind of closure?
So I've had people come to me for pet readings for their pets who are living and for their pets who have passed.
Okay.
So
How does that work either way? Both ways, excuse me.
most of the time they send me a picture, they text me or email me a picture, and I'm able to read their pet through the picture. although there's been times where I've literally just been sitting and having a conversation with someone like you and I are doing now, and I will have never seen their pet, never met them before, and I'll be like, oh yeah, your dog is a total diva. Like, one of my friends, Jackie, like her dog has like big diva energy, like, and she's one of the little tiny ones that has like that big like personality, right? And like she struts, like she literally struts into a room and like commands attention. Never seen a picture of this dog when I was having this conversation with her, never been to her house at that point. And literally all of this stuff just came out that I was supposed to tell her. And it happens so often that I'm like, there's been times where people have come to me and their pets have a behavior challenge, or they have a health issue, or whatever the case may be. And then also sometimes it is for closure when their pets have passed. And I find that it really does help. And most of the time they just want to know, and it's the same with humans, right? Is my family member, because pets are our family too.
Of course.
Is my family member okay? Are they on the other side? Are they playing? Are they enjoying life? And I'm like 120% yes, every single time.
Oh,
and
I love that.
Yeah. And I've had some pet family that I've lost over the years too, and it does suck and it's so hard. And but they show up in my, just literally, I kid you not, like 2 days ago, I was in the kitchen cooking and I felt a brush against my leg, and both of the cats that I have that are living were in the living room and I was in the kitchen, and I'm like, because I thought for sure, and I'm like, we have my little girl Murphy, that she was 15 when she passed at the beginning of COVID. It was like March of 2020 when she passed, like literally right when everything was happening. And so it was her. I know it was her. But it's so crazy because I wasn't like actively tuning in. I wasn't trying to, communicate with her. And she just like came and showed up, and I was like, oh, my baby.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you're such a pet lover too. We just put the picture of you and your babies, and I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So with speaking with people that have passed, right? Do they come to you? Do you go to them? Like, does someone ever say, hey, look, I'm just checking in so my family leaves me the F alone. They won't stop calling for me. I'm trying to rest over here with my new boo. Like, please tell them to I'm fine, kick rocks.
So the experience that I have, and it's different for every medium, but the way that I read is not like someone does not physically show up in spirit, like sitting next to me, like we're sitting here. It's like watching a movie for me, or watching a TV show. So clairvoyantly, I'm visioning, like I'm literally would be like looking off like I'm looking now to one side, and I'm able to view who's around. But it comes through usually like not in the present era, and not even necessarily when they passed. They tend to like to come through when they felt the best. So like if you were most confident when you were 30 years old, you come across as 30.
I love that.
Yeah, totally. So
it's not like if the person passed away from an awful disease, that's not the person that is coming to you.
Very, very rarely do I
Okay.
see someone like sick on their deathbed.
Wow.
Unless it's like there's something that needs to be given as a message about that time. So, and then the other thing is too, sometimes someone will show me how they were in their older years if I'm reading like their grandchildren, because they're not going to know what they looked like when they were 30.
Got it.
So I can't be like, oh yeah, was he, tall, blonde, whatever, if he was gray and wearing glasses by the end of his life. So the idea is when I'm connecting with somebody who has passed, that they're giving me information that the person I'm reading is able to validate. Because otherwise, I'm sitting here giving you a reading, it's not connecting with you and it's not making sense. It seems like
You're faking it.
right.
So
Or
you
like, I
have
don't
to
know what
give,
I'm talking
you don't know
about.
what you're talking about. Exactly.
Right. So, but almost always they'll give me something that there's no way I could possibly know. And oftentimes I'm reading someone that I don't know anything about their family or their history or their personal life or anything. Occasionally I have people who are friends come and ask for readings. But for the most part, the people that I book with, I don't know anything about.
Do you prefer it that way? Because you were nice enough years ago to do a reading for me.
Yes.
And that was weird, because not weird, but it was just like, we're at a family gathering, we're chilling, we're just, hanging out. And she's like, we got to go outside now. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
you needed
Wait,
it.
what happened? And I was like, what did I do?
In
Do I
that
stink?
moment,
You know,
yes.
it's like-
I just felt in that moment that you really needed it. And yeah, it just made sense to me at that time. But it's so like, And there's times too where it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm making money from it. It doesn't matter if what the end game is. It's literally because I'm being urged or nudged by spirit to give you a certain message.
I love that. And you're helping somebody else, which is, always your mission statement.
100%.
And I'm sorry, what I asked you, like, would you rather it be someone you don't know?
Oh, right. I don't really have a preference.
Okay. Right answer, right? 'Cause, like, I guess like the right, it's like, again, because you've got some details already when it's the friend, and is that coming in and messing up what's trying to come through?
Yeah, I try so hard not to let my own personal biases come in when I'm doing a reading.
Okay. And that's got to be hard.
Yeah. And also, if I am your friend and I'm giving you feedback, I will say, this is Erin, your friend, not Erin the psychic.
And I
will differentiate so that like, this is because I care about you and I want to give you good advice. This is what I'm receiving intuitively about your situation.
Okay.
And I always differentiate so that when I'm telling you something that because also sometimes guides are kind of mean. They're very blunt. And yes, I'm a blunt person, but I try to soften when I'm communicating.
Oh, you're so sweet. So if someone is like, stop being an asshole, you're never going to find a husband if you're an asshole. And then you tell the person, well, your grandma's telling you to just, you should try to be a little nicer,
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about past lives. This is another thing that fascinates me, okay?
Yeah.
So my wife feels that like her dreams show her past life, okay?
Yeah.
Her own personal journey, her own personal experience. And in her past life, she was a boy.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's, do we have any similarities with our past selves?
You mean you and Teresa?
No, I mean us and our past selves.
I got you. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because when I do past life readings, I will almost always find something that you've mastered in a past life is something that you carry with you into the next. When I've been read by someone that I trust for a past life reading, she was like, oh yeah, in your most recent past life, you were an author, you were a writer. And that's something I've been obviously published here now in this lifetime. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, yeah, you were a children's author. And so obviously that's, something that I've done since I was a little girl. I've always written short stories and poems and things like that. But it comes through like down to like what you're interested in. I definitely know that I've had a past life personally that I've been read where I was a lesbian. I had a girlfriend literally 2 lifetimes ago. So I'm like,
you see, I told you she was part of our community. Maybe not in this lifetime, maybe the next one too. Sorry, Louie. I'm messing with you, right? Was she hot? No.
dude. So it's somebody that I'm connected to in this lifetime now.
What?
And she and I are super good friends, and like I love the crap out of her. She's just a wonderful person. She's a fellow psychic medium with me as well.
God.
Literally, we joke about it all the time.
That is so cool.
I call her my lover.
I love that. Well, because she was.
Yes,
okay, so all you
seriously.
folks out there, if you're gay today, you might not be gay in your next life. So live it up.
Seriously.
Just saying. You know what, Erin, you can write. I mean, I'm so proud of you for publishing your book.
Thank you.
So beyond proud of you. But you can write books on a few topics. At this point, you can write about motherhood, you can write about parenting, you can write about women, you can write about women's inspirations. Let's talk about a little bit about your book right now. Okay,
Sure.
So author of Psychic Development, okay, and Intermediate Guide. Is this book for people who feel they are mediums and don't know how to really nurture their gifts?
So the entire reason that I wrote this book is because there was nothing for someone who is at the middle of their journey.
Okay.
There's-
Hence intermediate.
Correct. There's
Okay.
a lot of stuff for beginners. There's a lot of stuff for people who are on the world stage, like I mentioned John Edward before, Thomas John, Long Island Medium.
Long Island Medium, yes.
So there's so many beginners and professionals, and then there's nothing for somebody who's like, I already know the basics, but I'm not on the world stage yet. So I was like, God, I can't believe that there's nothing like this that exists. And when I was in the middle of my journey, I feel like I've kind of had to trailblaze, right? Everything has been like piecemealing things together and figuring it out as I go. And it was very important for me, I want to add when I wrote this book, that it's not addressing women, it's not addressing men, it's not addressing people in a certain age bracket or demographic. It's not addressing rich people, poor people. It's literally humans. And it was so important to me to write in a voice and speak to people with a voice that they could relate to. Because if I'm writing this book and I'm talking to you and I'm addressing you as a woman and you're a man reading this, you're not going to relate to it, right? And I have plenty of friends who identify non-binary, identify masculine, feminine, whatever across the board. I didn't want anyone to feel left out.
I love that. I love that. And it's an easy read, folks. So you can get the book on Amazon. You know, in everything that you do, you've wanted to help others.
Yeah.
Okay. Even from the radio days. I mean, like just, it's in your spirit, Erin, you know? And in this book, you're wanting to enhance others' gifts. So now you're the mentor for others, like something that like you didn't have growing up. I mean, you know, growing up medium. Oh, that's a new reality show.
Oh, I love it.
You should start.
Let's do it.
Okay, how do you get the book? How do you respond to this statement? Okay, everyone thinks that they're an empath. I'm sorry. It's that you know that I've told you this before because everybody it's like if I had $1 for every time somebody tells me, oh, because I'm an empath, and I'm like, no, you're a drunk, okay? And you think that you're hearing shit and thinking shit, and you just need another drink.
Here's what's frustrating to me is that it's become a dirty word. It did not start that way. And there was a point where highly sensitive people, which is how I have turned the phrase now.
I love that.
Because when you say empath, everyone rolls their eyes and goes,
yes,
oh,
and I don't want to. And I even try to put my eyes back down before rolling them, but they're already rolled out. Like,
so what I've had to do is shift the way that I phrase it. And some people think psychic is a dirty word or that psychic medium is a dirty word.
Yeah.
And they want to say, oh, well, I'm an intuitive or I'm a whatever. Like they want to like turn the phrase different. And I'm like, you're literally saying the same thing regardless. But for me, like a lot of us are highly sensitive. And then there's the layer of a lot of us are highly sensitive because we were raised in abusive households. And so the psychology behind it, because listen, I'm a spiritual person, but I also believe in the science behind things as well. So a lot of us were abused. A lot of us grew up in households where we were walking on eggshells and had to monitor other people's feelings. But there is someone who's an unhealed empath and someone who is a healed empath.
Okay. I've never heard that. I love that. Okay.
Yeah. So the difference is that when you're unhealed, you're walking around trying to, you know, your partner, your friends.
You're walking on eggshells still.
Right. You're still
trying to figure out, maneuver your gift. And you might be even getting some wrong information because you're not even really working on that how you should.
But if you're doing your inner work, your shadow work, and you're healing yourself, and hey, that could be traditional therapy. That could be coming to me for a reading. That could be journaling and meditating on your own time. It's also important to mention that it should not be cost prohibitive to heal yourself. So if you don't have the money to shell out for a therapist, work it out on your own. Do journaling, do meditating, do whatever.
Find a group. Yes. I mean, groups are so important. Look, I'm in AA almost 9 years now, okay? And like, again, my alcoholism got me there, but the fellowship kept me there. I would have never stayed there. If I didn't tell somebody I was coming back the next day, I probably would have come back the next day.
Yeah, accountability.
You know? Accountability, and that's what others do.
So, so to me, it's a matter of, are you saying these things because you're trying to be a people pleaser, because you're catering to others, whatever the case may be? Or are you truly coming from a place where you're sensitive because you're healed and you're intuitive? Now, by the way, you don't have to be psychic to be intuitive. We all have intuition. We all have that gut feeling,
It's that
right?
feeling.
Exactly.
It's that feeling in your stomach. You know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I think girls have it more. I mean, no offense to the boys, but like, I really do. Like, ever since like when you were a kid, I just remember my mom always telling me, look, you know, be wary of men, be scared, you always protect yourself as a young lady. And that feeling that you have in your gut about a man, trust it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong by trusting it. Oh, this guy makes me feel kind of weird. Let me separate myself out of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Boundaries.
You know, boundaries at an early age. But again, I didn't know that then.
Right.
You know, it's hard. Like next time somebody tells me they're an empath, that happens at least maybe once a week. I'll try not to roll my eyes because that's not nice. It's very rude. And I would rather say highly sensitive. I think that because I believe you.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Right.
I feel it when we sit down and talk.
Yes.
It's not even you when you're sitting there. You understand?
Yes.
I've known you for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not Erin sitting in front of me doing that reading. And I appreciate that and respect that even more.
Yeah.
Let's do our cards.
Let's do it.
Okay, tell me about these cards.
So I have this.
And how does this work and what we're doing? I'll tell me all of it.
This particular deck is a fairy tarot deck, and It's Radley Valentine. By the way,
You know how perfect this is? Because fairy, my name is Faye.
Yes.
And Faye is fairy in French.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Isn't that interesting?
I felt like you needed the fairy deck today.
I love that. Okay.
So this is like a combination of what is considered traditional Rider-Waite tarot. So if you're familiar with that, that would be cups, wands, pentacles, swords. And then the major arcana is like sun, moon, hanged man, chariot. So all of that is in this deck, but it's also an oracle deck because of the fairy element.
Okay.
So you get like best of both worlds.
Awesome. And so what are we going to do today? You're going to pick a card that goes with me, the show, them.
Yes.
Oh. All right.
So the idea is what I'm going to pull is a collective message. So it's what whomever is watching or listening at this moment needs to hear.
Okay. That's for you.
Yes.
You.
And I always just, wherever I feel guided to stop.
Okay.
Oh, God, I love this. So the card that I pulled is Strength. And I feel like the message for everyone that's watching right now is that whatever you're going through, whatever point you're at in your journey in this moment, that strength is part of the equation, but also that you don't always have to be strong for everyone.
Wow.
So it's a dual message of recognizing and realizing your inner strength and also appreciating that it's okay to fall apart and be vulnerable too.
Oh my goodness.
So
such a strong strength, such a strong message, and at the bottom of this, may I read this?
Yeah, of course.
It says the grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness, time to embrace how wonderful you are.
I love that so much.
And how perfect is that for our community?
Yes.
We are targeted. We are, we're constantly battling. I feel like we always have those Wonder Woman bracelets and we're like, hey, and the strength is within us.
Yes. I really love that.
It's just a matter of, just a matter of being aware of it and energizing it and giving it more love and strength because, God, it's so what we need.
And also that everything is temporary. That's something that I tell myself a lot. So whether you're going through something that's good or something that's bad, that it's temporary and to appreciate it for what it is and what it's trying to teach you too.
I love that. But it's so true. What Erin says, it's temporary.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. No one wants to hear that shit, right? But the reality is that it will pass, and that you won't be in that same awful hole that you might be right now. I love this. Thank you, Miss Erin.
You're welcome.
I really do appreciate that because I just have a feeling that there's so many people out there that needed to see this.
Yeah.
We're in our community, we're shunned by our family sometimes. We're shunned by the government, a lot of the time. We're constantly wondering, are we enough? Right?
It breaks my heart to know that that's such a struggle and that we've come so far to only come this far.
Yeah.
It kills me to know that anybody is treated poorly for any reason because at the end of the day, we are literally all human. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds like cheesy or cliche or whatever, but I really do truly feel it in my heart.
I love that. It's true though.
Yeah.
It's true. We're the human race. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what the hell you have between your legs. And
Seriously,
I wish that people would just start understanding that.
Just let people be. Oh my God.
Just let people be. Let us love whoever the hell we love. You're not in bed with me. You are in bed with me.
I am literally.
But why do you care who I'm in bed with? Why should it matter? Let me love who I want to love. Look, she had a lover two lives ago.
Yeah, it was awesome. She's the best.
Wow.
We were pirates.
They were pirates. Lesbian pirates. I saw porn that way.
I believe that.
I believe you did. Miss Erin Lee, author of Psychic Development and Intermediate Guide. You can buy it on Amazon right now. Please follow her on all social media outlets. She does oracle card readings, Reiki, past life, pet readings. She does it all, okay? And do yourself a favor. It's a gift that you give to your inner child. My own personal opinion. It's a gift that you give to your own little child. All those little questions that you have. Oh, why do I feel this way? And blah, blah, blah. They're all valid. Every single last one of them. And the fact that you'll be able to have someone like Erin put those things together and not make you feel cuckoo.
Validating people is literally my favorite thing. I love it so much.
Okay, please get her book on Amazon. Okay, it's a quick read and so worth it. Okay, Miss Erin, will you come back and be on our show again? Do you mind? When you write your third or fifth book. Lesbian pirates and how they can help you. The intermediate guide to being lesbian pirates.
Oh my God, I love it. But by the way, local and national clients. I have clients all over the country.
Oh my God, yes. So please follow Erin, and you can also ask for a reading, ask for anything. It doesn't have to be in person here in South Florida. She also does it through Zoom, okay? And trust, you get the same wonderfulness out of it. You will feel enlightened. You will feel that energy penetrate through the damn screen. I'm just saying, all right? Oh, Miss Erin, I love you. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us. Thank you for sharing your strength, and thank you for giving us that strength card. Oh, I just feel the energy of some of my viewers right now, and I know that was exactly what they needed. So make sure you follow her, buy her damn book. We'll be right back. So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ plus media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat show. Get the week started with me.